Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Cities Skylines Industries. I certainly hope you're having a wonderful day because I'm certainly excited to be back in New Nerdsy, where, unfortunately, I have some bad news. This is going to be the finale of the Cities Skylines Industries Let's Play. It wasn't supposed to be. I didn't plan on ending in part 55. I was hoping to end somewhere between 60 and part 75, but unfortunately, something has corrupted somewhere, and only about 50% of the vehicles that should be spawning are actually spawning. And that includes vehicles like garbage trucks, ambulances, police vehicles, hearses, essentially all of the service vehicles, as well as most of the cargo vehicles. So what happens is a lot of our buildings end up automatically getting demolished because they're not getting the things that they need. So what I've gone ahead and done is installed Demand Master, which I'm sure some of you will remember from some previous series. I've also installed a mod that actually gets rid of a lot of the pop-ups that say, hey, we don't have enough goods to sell, or not enough buyers for products, or garbage hasn't been collected, etc., etc. Because if I don't, the entire city would have those alerts. I'll be completely honest, I'm not happy that this is sort of what's happened. I was really hoping to get a few more episodes out of this series because there were a few other things I wanted to do. And I'm aware that I could still do those things with Demand Master and with this particular mod that turns off the alerts, and I could just turn on something like unlimited money if I really wanted to do that. But I don't want to go 100% creative mode with this series. I like that things do cost money. I like having that balance of trying to make sure that we are always ending up with a bit of a profit in one way or another. And I feel like this is just sort of an omen. You know what I mean? I think this is a good time to say, you know what? Let's do some final things with New Nerdsy. Let's call it there, and then I'll put up a list of every single mod and asset, as well as the save file itself. And if there's something you want to build or fix or play with, or even if you just want to blow up New Nerdsy, you absolutely can. So with that in mind, let's get to it and let's have a look at what's changed, because there have been some changes around here. Actually, one very big change out on this volcano island. We actually have a bit of a zoo. It's not finished yet, but I built about half of this on a live stream and another section of it just off camera completely. And I'd originally planned on recording the entire build process so that I could time-lapse it, but that wouldn't have looked very good because I wasn't planning what I was doing, so it would have been all over the place, and it's just a bunch of trees, really. So I figured I would walk you through what I've done here, and in the process of doing that, hopefully, we can get this thing up to 5,000 visitors so that it'll go to level 4, so that I can build some more things. So first things first, you might notice it's free. That's to incentivize people to come over here, because there's a boat, and sometimes people use the boat, but they usually don't. But what I've done here is I've used the Ziggurat Garden as sort of, if you've seen Jurassic World, you'll know like the big pyramid sort of visitor center thing, or Jurassic World Evolution. If you've seen me play that, you'll know what I'm talking about. I thought this was about as close to that as we could get. So I think that looks pretty good there. Like you come in on the boat and you just get the pyramid thing, get the volcano in the background. Obviously got some hotels around it and some parking lots. There is a metro connection as well, which is vastly more popular than the boats are, as well as this tunnel. And this tunnel is actually restricted so that only emergency vehicles, cargo vehicles, and service vehicles can use it. Now, with the bug that we've encountered, it doesn't actually get used much, but it's there so that we didn't have to put services on the island itself. And in case you're curious, that basically goes underground over to this island, and it just connects under there, which I figured was a nice little way of doing that. So moving into the park itself, we have a whole bunch of cafes, restrooms. We have souvenir shops as well as a bunch of plazas too. There's just a lot of things in here to make it as entertaining as possible, as attractive as possible, and as pleasant as possible. You do have a big old path that leads up the hill, and then through our gates, which are just big stones, because that's about the only thing I had on hand to make a gate out of. But you can go to the left and immediately head over to the moose and reindeer enclosure if you're interested in such things. You could buy some reindeer-related souvenirs if you wanted, or you could have a crap. That's an option. If you're interested, you could have dinner if you really wanted to. It'd be really inappropriate if it was like a reindeer steak, wouldn't it? Don't know why my mind went there, but there you go. Wow. Let's move on swiftly, actually. We have a birdhouse, again, with the souvenir shop and restrooms, so you can have a crap. And we have the antelope enclosure as well, with a cafe next to it, actually. So there's all of this on this top level. And I've actually played with the keys in a very similar way to what I did with this island over here. So the reason I did the keys this way on the island was sort of like, I imagine they would want this place to be very secure, so obviously a sheer concrete wall is very hard to breach. So that's one reason they would have, like... I imagine this island used to go just sort of straight up to this hill, right? This would have been all flattened off, and then they would have dug this out for the concrete wall, leaving this flatter area down here, right? So it's a security thing, but they also built out these extra areas that wouldn't have existed at all beforehand, for a little bit of extra space there, and for a little bit of extra space over here as well. And I think that looks really cool. So I took that idea and applied it here. So we can imagine this hill used to go up anyway, but they just sort of extended it and raised it and reinforced the land with the concrete walls and all that stuff. And I just think it looks cool. I think it looks interesting. And I took that idea sort of around the back here as well to this sort of multi-leveled thing that's going on. So up here we have the bison enclosure, but as we move down, you've got the insect, amphibian, and reptile house, as well as the flamingo enclosure and a sea life enclosure as well, which actually does have fish under there. That's actually very cool. I didn't notice that before. But basically, this is kind of what I want to do with the entire island. I want to do these different sort of enclosed areas for the entire thing. That's why I'm kind of looking forward to this thing getting enough visitors for me to go ahead and add in the next few enclosures, which I suppose will be the giraffe enclosure, the monkey palace, and then we need to get level 5 for rhinos and lions. So the giraffes and monkeys can sort of go in this kind of area over here, then the lions and the rhinos can go sort of around here a little bit. And then the entire island can be decorated a little bit better. Because I like what I've done with the trees, but I think it's a little too overgrown in a few spots. And I'm kind of thinking I want to do a little bit more with the sand as well. And I just want to make it look that little bit better. So that's my plan for Not Jurassic Park. That's its official name, is Not Jurassic Park. Which they've called it to avoid any copyright problems with people thinking that it's Jurassic Park. If you clearly call it not Jurassic Park, then you can't have the people that own the copyrights and trademarks to Jurassic Park coming along and being like, hey, people think this is Jurassic Park, when the name is clearly not Jurassic Park. That joke was funnier in rehearsal. I don't rehearse these. That wasn't... You know what? Moving on. So, while we're waiting for that to tick over, I want to actually just show you what the bug is that has broken the game specifically. So these two incineration plants, if we click on them, they should be operating. They do have water and they do have power, but they just don't work. And you can see this number here does try to climb. It goes to 1, then back to 0. It's just not working. And this one's exactly the same. And a lot of the incineration plants, the recycling centers, the landfills, whatever, none of them are working right. Like this has 2 vehicles out, but it can't go up to 3. This has 2 vehicles out, but can't go up to 3. And again, it's the same with a lot of buildings. It's the same. Oh, hello. Well, that was easy. Let's see. What do we need for the next level over here? Let's have a little look. So the next one is 10,000 visitors. Okay. Well, that's gonna suck waiting for that. That is gonna be terrible. All right. Well, we'll get to the park in just a second. Basically, that is the bug that we're having across the board. A lot of vehicles. I mean, this has apparently 13 vehicles out. It actually did just spawn another one. And that's interesting. Owner oil truck from the recycling center. Why did the recycling center just spawn an oil truck? Does it recycles the waste and produces raw materials from it? Oh! I actually didn't know that. Oh, that's actually very cool. Okay. So yeah, some of these buildings are actually working, but this one you can see is trying to go up to 2 from time to time and just isn't. So again, some of them work fine, some of them don't. And it's very strange, like there isn't a pattern to it. And it's not, I know it might look and someone might be like, hey, well, that's just because you don't have the demand, you don't need all those vehicles out at any time. Every single one of them is doing the little fluctuate from 0 to 1 or from 1 to 2 or 1 to 3 and then back down again. And these ones over here have never spawned trucks. They just don't. They've never spawned trucks, which means this entire place over here wasn't getting its garbage collected. So that's where the bug's coming from. That's what it's doing. And that's why it's kind of unplayable. Obviously, I could turn off a bunch of mods, but I have quite a few of them installed, and some of them are kind of essential for the workings of this city, and I worry that one of them might be, one of the essential ones might be one of the ones that's breaking it. So, again, I think this is probably as good a time as any to be like, you know what? New Nerdsy, we've had our fun. It's the longest City Skylines series we've done on the channel. I think it's the best looking city I've done. Honestly, I really love how this has turned out. I love that we at one point did take out the old city center and then built all the highways and all that stuff. I love that I've sort of, I realize this sounds like I'm sort of bragging or I'm trying to stroke my own ego. I'm really not. I feel like this city is a combination of things that I've learned from other cities and other series on this game. It's not perfect. The traffic is still pretty bad. Even though there's only 50% of it, we're still having traffic jams. But getting the highways in here and having these almost like ring roads and then doing grids, but doing them at different angles and just changing it up a little bit here and there. I love how the city's turned out. I think it's the most city-like city that I've built thus far. And I think it's honestly the most county-like county that I've built. I know we did try building a full county a couple of years ago, but this feels more like what I was trying to achieve there than the dedicated Let's Build series did. Hopefully that makes sense. I love looking at this. This is one of my favorite things to do with this, is zoom out and just sort of look at it. Except for the planes. The planes, they still bug me. I've cleared traffic a few times and they just gather. They just flock. It's kind of silly. All right, so let's get to work on these 2 new enclosures over in the zoo. We have giraffes and we have the monkey palace. So I think the monkey palace should probably be on the same level as the bison enclosure. So have it kind of raised up looking over everything. So what I want to do is I'm going to go in and take out all the trees. I think we're going to go in and take out just all of these trees. In fact, you know what? The entire island. I'm taking the trees off the entire thing, just so I can see what I'm working with here. So a nice clean slate. I'll take out these rocks, take out all of that, and I want to go in here with a key, which I think is in this particular category right at the start. Yeah, there it is. So I want to go in here with a key, and I want to go to about there, I think, and I want to curve it sort of that way. Yeah, that seems about right. Bring it in a nice straight line and then use move it to sort of clip it into those rocks if I can. Maybe move the rocks up a little bit. So if I do that, and then I go in here and say, don't grab buildings anymore, just grab the node. I can grab all these nodes and then hopefully level them to that height. Ah, that kind of messes with the rock a little bit, doesn't it? Okay, well maybe that plan's not going to work, but we'll roll with it for the time being. It's all right. There's plenty of room to make this actually work. But I want to flatten this entire level off. And then yeah, that kind of doesn't work. That's unfortunate. Could I get maybe a rock done at the bottom of that? Try and hide me crimes? Is that a thing we can do here? We have this, I suppose. Does that work? No. No, it doesn't. What about this one? That's helpful. But still not quite enough. I think we need something like this. We need something that, like, properly masks it. It looks terrible. Yeah, it's because it just follows the shape of the land. Look at that. That's kind of hilarious almost. I guess we could do something like that. It just looks like a weirdly carved out rock. It does unfortunately put trees on the key though, which I'm not too keen on, but that's probably as good as it's gonna get. Oh boy, that's rough. What if I take that out and do that one instead? You know what? That'll do. I think I can make that work, especially if I mask around the edges with some trees and all that stuff. Let me just smooth this out a little bit. Just a little bit there. And what I want to do is bring a path straight across, because this is, again, where the Monkey Palace is going to go. So we'll turn on guidelines. We'll go right up to there. And we'll go straight across to there and get a nice curving path around that bend. And I think the Monkey Palace itself is gonna go on an angle there. So let me go to roads real quick. Let me say do not curve. And then does that impact this? It does. Okay. So the Monkey Palace needs to go kind of central on that. Then if I bulldoze that and move it in a little bit, if I select the building, just move it straight in to there. It's not perfect, but I kind of like it. I do kind of like it. So that'll do, I guess. I'm also thinking I probably should. I'm going to put that back in for a second, because what I want to do is go 10 and go 10. I realize I'm using the wrong type of path there, but that's okay. So we can go straight across there, bulldoze you and you, and go straight down like this, and that is almost central. It can be moved that way a little bit. Then these two sections of path can be brought down. Nice and easy. And then we surround the Monkey Palace with some paths, and I think it looks all right. We can put some stuff around there. We can do some souvenir shops or whatever we want to do. So we'll do that just for a bit more room around it. And I want to level those out. So something a bit like that. And I want to put some hills in here. I want to bring some like rocks down so these look a little more divided than they are. Because I think it's a little too... It's a little too uniform at the minute. So we'll do something interesting with that. Maybe we'll do like a tunnel that goes straight through there or something like that. But first things first, let me throw in some... let me throw a souvenir shop in here, which actually fits perfectly in there. So a souvenir shop there. We'll do whatever that is, and then whatever this is can go on the other side. There we go. So we get one of each building with a little bit of room on either side, and I think on either side, I'm going to do something a little different and throw in some nice colorful trees. Because why not? We'll just throw those in to make this area a little bit different, make it stand out a little bit more. Because we haven't really got anything like this anywhere else in the park. So I think this will be kind of cool. Maybe throw a few more of the vibrantly colored trees around here. We can do one of those, maybe one over there as well. I actually really like how that looks. I think it's really interesting. Yeah, I like that a lot. I think we do probably want to throw in some of these as well, just to break it up a little bit. Just a little bit of that beautiful dark green in there, but I like that. It's simple, but it does the job. The only thing I want to do before we start throwing some terrain editing around there is I think I want to go from that point to that point. And I want to, what is this? So from there to maybe there, and I want to try and curve this around a bit better. So if I do that, can I just drag this out? I totally can. Okay. So that seems about right. I think we can go ahead and just extend this slightly. And I like that, actually. I think that's kind of cool. So it loops around really nicely. You can sit in front of the Monkey Palace and enjoy the water, I guess. And that, I think, is all I really want to do there. So let's go in with a bit of terrain editing and see what we can do here. So I just want to, like, raise... I want to do this. I like doing these kind of ridges here. And I think it was... I think I did a video... It was a video, right? It wasn't a live stream. I think I did a video a long time ago where we built sort of like a national park type thing in Cities Skylines. And I think when I was doing the hills in that video, I kept referring to these like the spines of a hill, the spines of a mountain range, because it kind of looks like a big old spine because of the way some mountains are formed. Two tectonic plates crash into each other and they fold straight up sometimes. So that's kind of how you get these spines, and I like that. It can be a little fantasy looking at times, I'll admit, if you have them sort of accented a little too much, but I like it as a detail. I like it in video games. I like it in sort of movies and all that stuff, and fantasy movies. I think it just looks cool. I also just like the idea that there's this little hill here just sort of separating the two enclosures. I think that'll look really good with a bunch of trees on it too. As for the other enclosure, which I believe was the giraffe enclosure, I'm actually thinking that maybe we want to, oh, what is going on there? I've just noticed that. I'm actually thinking that it could probably be the same height as the amphibian one here. So let me just fix this, because I'm not sure what happened there. Oh, that's not actually fixing. Well, that's interesting. Okay. I'm gonna need to figure that out. I wonder if it's actually the key there doing it. It totally is. Okay. Well, that's unfortunate. So the keys are kind of messing with each other there. I wonder, can I maybe cover that? Can I put a tree on there to just sort of cover that mess? Yeah, I can... There you go. You'll never know it's there. It's a health and safety nightmare, but you'll never know about it until someone falls in and is never heard from again. That's the risk of not Jurassic Park. That's what we're about. Spared no expense. Spared no expense. Oh, God. All right, so I'm thinking that right here is kind of where I want to put the giraffe enclosure, but I kind of want it to be raised up like this enclosure over here. So I'm actually thinking that maybe I could just sort of grab this entire enclosure. So if I just grab all of the nodes here, and I hope I'm grabbing the right one there, but if I just do that, yeah, I've sort of grabbed the entire thing, so I can rotate it and then sort of push and pull at it to get what I want. So that's fine. Let's go ahead and raise the entire thing up for a second. It's not going to look anything like this, but I just want to raise it up so it's all one consistent height. Then we can sort of go in and start moving the entire thing. So what I'm thinking we'll do is we'll move it in like that so it sort of clips this one. And then we could honestly just build off of that. So we can actually bulldoze all of that. We can go grab the node at the end here and just move it in a bit. So move it to like there. We can lower it to the same height as the other one. And then hopefully straighten up a little bit because it's not quite right. So have it straightened up to about there. It does mess with the terrain, but again, that's fixable. And all we need to do is go in with more keys and create sort of a weird enclosure looking thing. So let's go. What distance is this? That is about 12. So about there. and go to there. And then what we can do is actually curve this around and hopefully have it all line up really nicely. So this can go straight in. We can grab that node, just sink it back to about there. And if we grab the rest of them, we can level the entire thing to the same height as the first bit of key that we put down here. So level it all to, let's see if I can grab the right node. That one. Yeah, I like that. I actually like that a lot. Okay, let's take this out. Let me take that out. And let me run this straight in a bit. Because that fixes a couple of the problems we were having with the key there anyway. So move this along to about there. Maybe a little teensy bit further. And let's see. Can I grab this node? Come on. Hold on. Let me turn off the segments. Let me just turn off everything. It's going to make it a lot easier. So grab the node, straighten it out, bring it in, and raise it to that height. That looks pretty good to me. Just needs to go a little further. Let's see. Grab it. I said grab it. I'm grabbing the wrong one. That's great. Grab that one. And there we go. I think that is probably as good as we're going to get it. Can I level the terrain in there, though? That's the question. So grab you, bring it all up. No. No looks to be the answer. Some of the keys are misbehaving there. That's fixable, though. That's fine. That's totally fixable. All right, I'll be honest. This actually took a little bit longer to do than I planned. It's not turned out exactly the way I want it, but it looks all right, I suppose. This side we can just assume is a little bit more man-made than the other side of the island, which I guess is fine. It's kind of in a similar vein to what we did with the Space Center Island, I guess. Sort of has that look of like, hey, they needed a bit more land than was actually available, so they kind of built something out into the water a little bit, and I think that looks all right. I think it looks kind of cool. It's a bit weird, but I kind of dig it. I think it's kind of cool. So let's go ahead and get the, what was it we were putting down here? It was the giraffe enclosure. It doesn't even fit. I've built all of this, and it doesn't even fit. I'm an idiot. I'm an actual, genuine idiot. Are you kidding? Oh, why? Can I get it in the corner? Oh, you know what? I actually sort of can. That's interesting. All right. That's honestly slightly gutting. That's wow. Okay. Well, the good news is it'll fit there, which I guess is fine. I need to get rid of that bit of road. But it'll all connect together, right? So I can go in here, I can grab my path, and I can go sort of like that. It's not exact, but from a distance, you don't really notice. Oh, I can't believe I honestly just spent a little bit too long perfecting the curves of all this thing and didn't stop to think, wait a minute, maybe the giraffe enclosure is going to be one of those weird ones that comes with a path. Turns out the giraffe enclosure is one of those weird ones that already comes with a path. So that's fantastic. Let me see here. Yeah, this bit here is also acting up a little bit. I need to always sort of adjust it slightly to get it to not act up a little bit. So that's fun. I guess the entrance to this area is going to have to be here. So run that underground. Let me grab the... Can I grab the node for this? Grab it there and just sort of shuffle it down a little bit. Then grab that node and sort of shuffle it to there and lower it. So that it's just nice and level at least. Then all we need to do is go underground and first off, delete all of that. Then curve this path so it comes down sort of somewhere around here. So like that. I want to do something simple. There we go. So that looks about right. That looks Yeah, that looks easy to access. Just down there, and running up. There you go. So that's how you get access to the giraffe enclosure, which really could have been so much easier to do if I just paid attention to what the giraffe enclosure actually was. But there you go. I didn't, so it wasn't as easy as it could have been. But that's fine. That's not a big deal. Let me just take out some of that sand there so this looks a little bit neater. I guess in here is just going to be a bunch of plazas, I suppose. I guess we could do a plaza there and there. So that looks all right. It's not exact, but it'll do. We could always throw another path straight down here to actually space them out a little bit better, which I do actually kind of want to do. So shuffle that to there a little bit and shuffle that to there a little bit. That looks about right. The paths actually aren't exactly level though, which is bugging me. Let me select buildings as well. Let me select all the nodes, the buildings and all that stuff, and level them to that height. Or not. Level them to that height instead. And I kind of wonder, can I get a little building in here? I totally can. And it can, in fact, be a gift shop as well. There we go. So that'll give people reason to come around here, as well as the toilets, which, you know, they're a bit of a necessity. And the cafe as well. There's literally nothing else over here. But that's probably all right. They don't need much else, I'm sure. Probably not that big a deal. It's going to be an absolute pain to get there. I will say that's a fact. It's going to be an absolute pain to get there because you have to yeah, basically you have to go from here, along here, around here, under that tunnel, down here, over here, around there, under that tunnel, down there, and over here. Did that make sense? Were those instructions easy to follow? I certainly hope they were, because they were well thought out instructions. Anyway, I think I'm going to add the trees back in. I know we haven't got the lion enclosure and all that, but I think it's probably for the best that we add the trees back in. We're going to start with the palm trees with a very, very weak brush just to give a nice little light sprinkling of palm trees around here. Because that is the tree that seems to be most commonly found on this island. And I think it is the tree, if I remember right, that was most commonly found on the entire map before I decided to go with a different type of tree. So we'll sprinkle these around as best we can just to give a nice little bit of that natural look to it. So something a bit like that should do the job. We want to get them up the hill as well, just to make sure that they're everywhere. So there we go. We got a bunch of those in there. We'll go for some of the bushes as well. I'm going to up the brush strength for this one, just to get some of those in and around here. It is going to be a lot more dense. This is just the beginning of the Treemageddon. Yeah, probably should have thought about that before I said it, but there you go. That's been said. So that, I think, is a good start. That looks like something you'd find in sort of base game City Skylines. Now we want to go in with some of the dense trees, because we do want this to look a little bit more overgrown in some of these spots around here, especially around some of the rocks and all that stuff. Because I do like these trees. I think they look fantastic. I think they really make places sort of come alive a little bit. And I kind of want this island to feel a little bit imposing as well. So I do want plenty of these. I want it to feel like, you know, this is nature's island. This isn't, you know, as man-made as parts of it are, nature's taking parts of it back. You know, I kind of want it to have that vibe. So we have this park in here, but we really don't have full control of the park. Very much like Jurassic Park, just not similar enough that this is Jurassic Park, because as we know, this is not Jurassic Park. So, you know, I got a bunch of those trees in there. I want to go for the smaller ones again and throw a bunch of those in, because they're very good at just filling in some of the gaps that the large trees can't get into. So throw a whole bunch of them in, sort of up and around the main path here as well. And there are going to be some spots where I need to go in and take out some of these trees because, hold on, I want to get a few of those on there. Yeah, around the benches and all that stuff, we're going to want to make sure that we don't have a whole bunch of trees because we want the benches to have a nice view of everything. So go in and throw just a few of the lighter trees again. And really, it doesn't look like I ever took the trees away, does it? This looks exactly as overgrown and sort of unloved as it did before I took the trees away. So at least my work is consistent. At least what I'm doing is consistent. And I think that looks all right. So let me go in and let me get this brush, or not the brush, let me get this selection. I only want the trees. And I just want to go in and take out all of those. Yeah. So just leave that area a little bit clear. Over here, we want to go in and do a very similar thing. Take those ones out. And then I think I am going to go in with some individual trees here. Just sort of on either side to make that little bit feel, you know, a little more exposed in contrast to what's surrounding it. And the same on this side. I want to bring the trees up a little bit closer to it. Make it just feel a little bit more exposed in contrast to sort of the overabundance of trees surrounding it. And I think I'm also going to go in with this brush and see if I can just dot a couple of the little cherry trees around here. Just for a little bit of variety, just to break it up slightly, add a little bit of color. And maybe some of the purple ones too. Just for something a bit different, you know? I think it looks kind of interesting. Maybe some of those, not as many of those. They're very, very bright. And a couple of those around as well. I just think it breaks it up. I like that a lot, though. I really do. Now, let's see. You should have power and water, if I'm not mistaken. Power, water. There we go. All right, so they all have power. They all have water. We do, in fact, have a gorilla. And we do, in fact, have a chimpanzee. And it looks like they're trying to escape, I'm going to be honest. We had chimpanzees escape from Belfast Zoo recently here in Northern Ireland, so, you know. What do we got? We got giraffes as well. That one's apparently eating. That one's frolicking over there. Well, isn't that fantastic? We have all this in. We have this up here. We probably want... Oh, we already have buildings around this. I totally forgot I did that. You know, I'm actually really happy with that. Just looking at it, I think it looks kind of neat. I'm also realizing this bit over here has no trees worth talking about. Let's fix that. So we'll go in with the individual trees and just sort of dot them around ourselves. So just a little something. Maybe a couple around like this as well. Some of the smaller ones. Maybe a lighter one. Just something to break it all up a little bit. There we go. So again, that area looks a little bit more exposed in contrast to the trees around it. And I honestly think that looks really good. I know it's overgrown, but it's supposed to be. There's a story to it, you know? That's kind of what I'm going for. It's supposed to look that way. But then imagine like sailing up to this from this side and seeing, you know, all these different levels of places you can go. In fact, you know what? I kind of want to make that a thing. I kind of want my boats to go that way. It makes no sense that the boats would go out there. But somehow I want them to go that way. So let me take out this this boat line from here. And we could have them cut through there, go out and around the island, and then sort of in. And I think I'm going to, as dumb as that is. Again, doesn't make sense, but at this point we're going for sort of the cinematic look of this whole thing rather than the realistic side of it. It also, we can sort of treat the boat thing as almost like a tour. So the boat sort of brings you around the space sensor, right? And then it brings you out here. We kind of want to go wide around this part of the island because that's where the sea life enclosure is. But we can bring it out, right? Bring it way out. And then we bring it in like this. Because then you get that proper sort of not Jurassic Park approach where you're sailing straight towards this island. I think that'll look awesome. So the line should automatically update. Apparently I've added a stop there. Let's get rid of that. We really don't need that stop. But there we go. So the boats go out all the way around, and then they lead straight up towards the island. And I just think that would look really cool. I really think that'll look awesome. So basically it's this view right here that I'm talking about. That boat just goes past. You've got the island right there, all the different levels that you could be on, all the different places you can go and explore. It's quite an imposing island. It's quite clearly a sort of a volcano-looking structure. You've got this other boat in the water. What's it doing? I don't know why I've kind of gotten to the point where I'm trying to sort of craft a story here. But I like it. I think it's fun, right? It's a bit different. I don't usually sort of come up with a story behind my islands, but I kind of like it. It's kind of fun. It's a bit different. You know, is this island safe? Is it Jurassic Park? No, it isn't. It's not. It is not Jurassic Park. And then, of course, I couldn't resist this kind of move right here. Slowly coming in over the water, thinking, what are you gonna see? You're on your boat. You're anticipating putting your foot on dry land. You run to the front of the ship, and there it is. You see the ziggurat garden. You've got the buildings on either side. You've got the volcano in the back. I know you can't see it right now because the camera's still moving, but you've got the volcano in the background. You've got this whole island to explore. I love it, man. I really do. I'm really happy with how the island has turned out, especially with that kind of view right there. With that right there, like the volcano in the back, the garden in the front, the sun just beating down, the lights all shining. Imagine if this was real, man. How cool would that be? Now, I'm going to have some fun with the rocket. I've launched it a couple of times, but I don't know if we've recorded this yet. So let's go to space. Maybe we're going to the red planet. Maybe we're not. Who knows? Either way, I really hope it launches while we got the cinematic camera going. It absolutely did. That was pretty damn good timing, if I do say so myself. And there it goes. Off to space. It might be going to the red planet. Might not be. I realize you can't really see it anymore, but it's up there. Oh, what are we? What is the camera? Okay, this the illusion was pretty good until the camera started messing about. The rocket's gone. Well, that was Bluebird Heavy 4. Oh, why didn't I rename it Nerd Heavy 2? Damn it, or Nerd Heavy 3. Well, that's unfortunate. I forgot to rename it. We sent the wrong rocket up. We're gonna have to get another one. They're gonna have to build another one. That's just unfortunate. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that is gonna be it. I figured we'd wrap things up with one of my favorite camera movements across the city. This is one that I put together a couple of episodes ago, actually before I'd completely finished the little village that you're about to see. I know it doesn't look like much right now, but you'll see why it's quite special to me. You get this beautiful little view coming over the hills here, the edge fog and all that stuff. I actually, excuse me, I actually really love the way this view kind of looks. But that is going to be it for City Skylines Industries. This has been the longest City Skylines series that we've done here on the channel. It's been one of the best received ones that we've done. It's been one that's helped me branch out to Twitch a little bit more. And it's been one that I'm going to hold close because I love how this city happened to turn out. I didn't expect it to end at part 55. I was kind of hoping to keep it going a bit longer, but unfortunately that wasn't the case. Either way, in the description of this video, you will find a couple of links that will take you to every mod and asset that I've used for this series, as well as to a way to download the save and play on it yourself. Keep in mind, it might be broken for you as well, but I can't seem to fix that despite having tried. But with that said, this is also going to be a farewell to City Skylines for a while, and if you want to know the exact reason for that, go to youtube.com/conflictnerd/community. There's a post there about it, or to reddit.com/r/conflictnerdofficial. The same post is over there. It's not goodbye forever, it is bye-bye for now. If there's another DLC for Cities, I will absolutely play it. but it will not be another full-length Let's Play. It'll be a mini-series. I have some plans for the channel, some things I'm very excited about, some things I think you'll absolutely love, and I want to play a whole bunch of different games. I'm looking at Anno. I'm looking at Civilization 6. I'm looking at Tropico 6. There's a lot of games that I'm really keen for. And hopefully you're going to be keen for them as well, because I think some of them are fantastic. I think I've played the new Anno. I've played Tropico 6 already. I have not, at the time of recording, played the new Civilization 6 expansion, but I've seen some people play it, and it looks absolutely fantastic. There's other games coming out later this year that I'm keen for. There's different types of games that I'm really curious about. I want to play Anthem. I want to play The Division 2. I want to play some Apex Legends on the channel. I know it's a Battle Royale game, but that's something I want to do. I want 2019 to be a year all about loads of different games. You know what I mean? I love management games. They're not going anywhere, but I want to bring more games to the channel. I want to share more experiences. I want to stop saying the same sentences over and over again because we're constantly placing roads, or we're constantly placing, changing junctions, or train stations, or airports. I want to bring some variety to the channel. So again, it's not goodbye forever to Cities Skylines. I owe so much to this game and to this community and to the fans of this game who have experienced so many things with this game with me. I really can't thank you enough for the support that you've shown to this series and the previous ones and to all the management games. And I am very much using this series as a bit of an end to a chapter of this channel, and I'll be completely honest, I'm incredibly nervous about that. I'm scared about that, and I don't often swear in this series, but allow me this one, I'm shitting myself. I really am. I'm very, very nervous, but I'm very excited. So to conclude, because I'm rambling, what I will say is this. If you are going to unsubscribe because you are here for regular City Skylines content, then I understand. I'm not gonna be annoyed. I'm not gonna beg and plead and cry about it. There's no point. I, at one point, subscribed to Netflix for only one show. Some people subscribe to Amazon Prime for just the Grand Tour. It's just how online content works. You subscribe for the shows that you like, and when the shows that you like aren't on, you unsubscribe and go elsewhere. If that's what you're doing, that's fine. Whether you've been here for a week, a month, a year, hopefully someday you'll find something on the channel that you do enjoy, and hopefully you'll come back and you will be more than welcome back into the community. If you are sticking around, thank you very much. I can't express how much that means. Again, this is a bit of a nervous time for me because I do want to push the boat out. I do want to do some different things, and I do want to change up the formula a little bit. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching this Let's Play of City Skylines Industries. A big old thank you to Paradox for the code way back when. It has been my absolute pleasure. And, well, as always, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.